Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be diving into AI.
Oh, cool.
But we're going beyond, the typical headlines and stuff that you see every day about AI.
Okay.
And we've actually got some really interesting sources this time.
Yeah.
We've got a potential podcast script, we've got a video description, and we even have a blog written by AI.
Whoa, hold on.
Pretty wild, right?
AI is writing its own blogs now. That's pretty meta.
Yeah. It is, and we're going to dive into that a little bit later.
Okay.
But first, one of the things that I thought was really interesting from the sources was this whole idea of AI being used for conservation.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too.
There's a story about the plains wanderer, which is a bird that was thought to be extinct in Melbourne.
Right, yeah, it was like 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years it was missing, and then they rediscovered it using AI.
Isn't that wild? Like, they basically had AI sifting through tons of environmental data.
Yeah.
And it was able to, like, pinpoint the location of this bird. Pretty amazing what it could do.
So what do you think this means for other endangered species? I mean, could AI be used to help protect them too?
Well, I think it's definitely a possibility. I mean, if it can find a bird that's been missing for 30 years.
Yeah.
Imagine what else it could do. It could analyze all sorts of ecological data.
Right.
And maybe even find patterns that we would miss.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's like having a digital detective working around the clock to protect biodiversity.
So AI could actually be like a conservation hero.
Exactly. It's pretty cool to think about.
That is really cool. Okay, so we've got AI helping to protect endangered species, but it's also making a big impact on the economy. One of the things we saw was that Brookfield Asset Management is investing a ton of money in AI infrastructure.
Oh, yeah, that was huge news.
Yeah, like $20.66 billion.
I know, it's crazy. That's a lot of money. And it's all going towards building data centers and high-speed networks in France.
So can you explain, why are data centers and networks so important for AI?
Well, think of it this way. Data centers are basically the brains of AI. They're these massive warehouses full of servers that store and process all the data that AI needs to function.
Okay.
And then the networks are like the nervous system. They connect all these different AI systems together and allow them to communicate with each other.
So it's like a whole new digital landscape being built specifically for AI.
Exactly. And this investment is a sign that the AI economy is going to be huge. It's going to impact pretty much every sector.
Wow. Okay, so we've got AI protecting endangered species, driving the economy, and get this, it might even be able to make us laugh.
Wait, what?
I know it sounds crazy, right? But one of the sources mentioned a study where they found that AI-generated jokes were actually funnier than human-written jokes.
Really? I got to see that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And it raises some really interesting questions about humor and creativity. Like, can AI really understand what's funny?
Yeah. I mean, we always thought that humor was this uniquely human trait.
Right.
But if AI can make us laugh, then maybe we need to rethink that.
So what do you think? Could this be the future of comedy? Like AI comedians, AI sitcoms, AI stand-up routines?
It's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
And imagine if you could have an AI comedian that was tailored to your specific sense of humor.
That would be amazing, like a personalized stand-up routine?
Yeah. Or what if AI could help us write funnier scripts or come up with new comedic material?
Wow, that would be really interesting. So AI could actually help us to be funnier.
Maybe. Or maybe it'll just replace us all.
Oh, no.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But seriously, who knows what the future holds?
Okay, well, on that note, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be diving into the world of AI-generated content.
Can't wait.
Stay tuned.
It really does make you think, like, are we in control, or is AI starting to control us?
I know, it's kind of a mind-blowing concept. But, one thing that struck me is how this video description we have, it paints a really positive picture of AI.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's all about, like, saving endangered species, boosting the economy, even making us laugh.
Yeah. It's a far cry from those, Terminator scenarios we see in movies.
Right. No killer robots here, just helpful algorithms.
So why do you think there's been this shift toward a more, optimistic view of AI?
Well, I think part of it is that we're starting to see real-world examples of AI being used for good.
Yeah, like those conservation efforts.
Exactly. When people see AI actually solving problems, it helps to change their perception.
It's like, okay, maybe this AI thing isn't so bad after all.
Right. And plus, I think we're starting to realize that AI isn't this one big scary thing. It's a bunch of different tools and techniques that can be used in different ways.
So it's not just this all-powerful force that's going to take over the world.
Well, I mean, hopefully not. But seriously, the way we talk about AI really matters.
You mean like how we frame it?
Exactly. If we constantly focus on the negative, then people are going to be afraid of it. But if we highlight the positive potential, then we can encourage responsible development.
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we talk about it and how we use it.
Absolutely. We have a responsibility to shape the narrative around AI in a way that benefits humanity.
Okay, so speaking of responsibility, remember that AI blog post about countering people like Terrence Howard?
Oh yeah, that one was kind of cryptic.
Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure what it means. Can you shed some light on that?
Well, my guess is that it's talking about the potential for AI to be used for, not so good purposes.
Like spreading misinformation.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Or maybe reinforcing bias, or even manipulating people's opinions.
So even though this blog is written by AI, it's actually raising concerns about the potential downsides of AI.
It is, which I find pretty fascinating. It's almost like it's saying, hey, even though I'm AI, I recognize that there are ethical issues here.
That's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. It's like AI is having an existential crisis.
Maybe, or maybe it's just prompting us to have one. Either way, it's a reminder that we can't just blindly embrace AI without thinking about the potential consequences.
Right. We need to have those tough conversations about ethics and responsibility.
Exactly. And this AI blog, in its own weird way, is helping us to do that.
Okay, well, let's shift gears for a second and talk about the SEO tags in that video description. They give us some insight into how AI content is being marketed to the public.
Oh yeah, those tags are interesting. They're all about AI advancements and AI innovation.
It seems like they're really trying to push a positive narrative.
They are. It's all very upbeat and optimistic. Like AI is the answer to all our problems.
But is there a danger in being too optimistic? I mean, could it lead us to overlook some of the potential risks?
That's a good point. I think it's important to find a balance. We need to acknowledge both the potential benefits and the potential downsides of AI.
Right. It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Exactly. We need to be realistic about the challenges ahead.
Okay, so the video description also recommends a couple of books. One is about artificial intelligence, which makes sense. But the other one is about humor. That seems like a strange combination.
It does, doesn't it? But maybe there's a message there.
What do you mean?
Well, maybe it's suggesting that even as we explore the complexities of AI, we shouldn't forget our own humanity.
That's an interesting interpretation.
We need to keep laughing, keep connecting with each other, keep reminding ourselves what it means to be human.
Because ultimately, AI is a tool that we humans are creating. It's up to us to shape it in a way that benefits us all.
Right. It's not about AI versus humans.
Yeah.
It's about AI and humans working together to create a better future.
Well said. But, before we get too carried away with all this talk about the future, I think we need to circle back to the present and take a closer look at those ethical dilemmas that the AI blog brought up.
Yeah, those just definitely worth exploring further. And who knows, maybe this AI can offer some insights that we humans haven't even considered yet.
No, that would be truly mind-blowing. All right, let's dive back into that blog and see what other thought-provoking ideas this AI has to offer. It's really quite something, isn't it? To see this AI tackling such complex issues, it's like it's trying to get a grasp on what it means to be human.
It is. Like, it's not just about intelligence. It's also about ethics and values and all the things that make us human.
Yeah, and like we talked about earlier, those posts about Terrence Howard and AI voices, those really get into some serious ethical territory.
For sure. Those are big ones. And I think there are even more ethical dilemmas out there that we need to think about when it comes to AI.
Like what else should we be worried about?
Well, one thing that's really concerning is the potential for bias.
Bias.
Yeah, like AI algorithms are trained on data, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that data is created by humans.
Right.
So if the data is biased, then the AI is going to be biased too.
Oh, I see what you mean. So like if an AI is trained on data that's sexist or racist,
Exactly.
then it's going to make decisions that are sexist and racist.
Unfortunately, yeah. And that's a huge problem because AI is being used for more and more important decisions, like who gets hired, who gets a loan, even who gets parole.
Wow, that's really scary. So we need to make sure that the data used to train AI is fair and unbiased.
Absolutely. Otherwise, we're just going to be perpetuating all the same problems we have in society.
Okay, so bias is a big one. What other ethical considerations are there?
Well, another thing that people are worried about is job displacement.
Oh, yeah, like robots taking over all our jobs?
Well, it's not quite that dramatic, but AI and automation are definitely going to change the job market.
Right.
Some jobs are going to disappear and some new jobs are going to be created. The question is, how do we make sure that everyone benefits from these changes and no one gets left behind.
That's a tough one. So it sounds like we need to be really careful about how we develop and implement AI.
We do. We need to think about the ethical implications every step of the way.
And it's not just the responsibility of the tech companies, right? It's all of us.
Exactly. It's policymakers, it's educators, it's everyday people. We all need to be part of the conversation.
Well, I'm glad we're having this conversation today.
Me too. And I have to say, it's pretty amazing that an AI blog is the one that's prompting us to think about these things.
I know, right? It's like this AI is trying to help us figure out what it means to be human in the age of AI.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And it just shows that the future of AI is not predetermined. It's up to us to shape it.
And that's a pretty empowering thought.
Yeah, it is. So let's keep having these conversations. Let's keep pushing for responsible AI development. And let's make sure that we create a future where AI benefits everyone.
Well said. That's a great note to end on. So, to our listeners out there, keep learning about AI, keep asking questions, and keep demanding that AI is used for good.
And most importantly, don't forget to keep diving deep. See you next time.